Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on just the Arrowverse and DCTV on the CW as a whole. So I think it was 2 weeks ago, we got the news with each piece being separated by, I think it was about like 2, 3, maybe 4 hours or something between them, that both Legends of Tomorrow and Batwoman had been cancelled by the CW after 7 seasons and 3 seasons respectively. With the Batwoman cancellation not being as big of a surprise as a Legends cancellation, that being due to the rumors around Batwoman's safety and likelihood around getting renewed, due to the incoming Gotham Knights show swirling around for a while, in the lead up to the news coming out that it had been cancelled. Now, we knew that that was not going to be the end of cancellations for the CW because there were much worse performing shows than those two that were still around and that were lingering on cancellation. No news had been out about them or anything like that. So it was more about when that other news would come out in regards to more cancellations, not if. Though we did know that it would be before the CW upfronts towards the end of May, which is now, in around a week's time from now. Well, now, after Legends and Batwoman were cut, around 2 weeks ago, now Naomi, another DC TV show on the CW, not associated with the Arrowverse, but another DC show, has been cancelled, with Gotham Knights coming in on the DC side of things, as that was actually picked up for series on the exact same day that Naomi was cancelled. Now, 9 shows have been cancelled by the CW this season in total, including Legends and Batwoman. So Legends and Batwoman were the first 2, and then there were 7 more that were cancelled on the same day as Naomi, or including Naomi. So the 7 that were cancelled probably over the past 24 hours, probably, from when you're watching this video, were, of course, Naomi, Legacies, The 4400, Roswell, New Mexico, In the Dark, Charmed, and Dynasty. And it wasn't just the CW that cancelled shows. It was pretty much a cancellation day for all of TV in America, all of network TV. I think the only network that didn't cancel any shows might have been Fox, but CBS cancelled a bunch, ABC cancelled a bunch, NBC cancelled a bunch. It was just a big day for cancellations on network TV in America. So it wasn't just the CW, but the CW was focused in on because I think the CW had the most. I think the next one was like 4 or 5 on another network, while the CW cancelled 7 in total on one day. So a lot of people are out of work this week and just lost their jobs, not only on the CW related shows, but just TV work, on American TV as a whole. Now, as I said, Naomi was just, cancelled yesterday alongside those other shows. And Naomi just finished up this week. Like, they advertised as like a 2-part finale. And I was like, oh, okay, well, we'll see how it is. And I went out of my way to try and find, go on a VPN to watch it on the CW app because it wasn't airing. Like, they put up the second last episode, but not the finale on the place in Australia where you watch it. So I went out of my way going, oh, I want to see how it ends. And it didn't end very well. It was a bit of a meh. It was a bit of a... The issue with Naomi is that it was just a very meh show. It felt like it was so slow building up to things. It wasn't necessarily bad. It was just so uneventful. And I think that's definitely the errors that the show had. Alongside the bait and switching with Superman, the fact it wasn't set in the Arrowverse is a bit of an issue. It doesn't have that Arrowverse tone either, which has me a bit worried about Gotham Knights. Because you got to realize, some people might not like the Arrowverse tone. That's why they might tune in, but it's on the CW where the Arrowverse is. So I think that's an error that they did play around within this show. So I'm not too surprised that it didn't last past season 1, but at the same time, I thought it might have got just that chance for season 2 because Legends and Batwoman were already cancelled. Now, there is like a false narrative that's being pushed around that the Warner Brothers Discovery merger that's been happening is the reason that these shows are being cancelled because they're like cleaning house or something like that, which doesn't make sense. Otherwise, they would have just cancelled everything DC on the CW or Warner Brothers on the CW. See where the lack of logic in the flaw in that logic is? Because the Legends showrunner has said on Twitter after the show was cancelled that DC and Warner Brothers were on their side in regards to trying to save the show, and that's why they allowed them to use Booster Gold in their season in like an attempt to either bring more viewers in that exact moment or sort of tease the CW. It's like, hey, you got this big character now, more people will tune in for next season, especially if this character is advertised. But it still didn't save the show. The CW still cancelled it. So Warner Brothers was trying to help Legends get renewed. So how could they be the ones that cancelled it at the same time? You know what I mean? This comes from the CW side, and it's all money wise. It's all about the money that the shows are bringing in and everything like that, which includes, well, just the general revenue, how many viewers are watching live, as well as how much it's trending, and then also like the aftermarket stuff as well. So unfortunately, Legends was the show that, well, one of the shows that fell by the wayside there, regardless of the attempts that they did make. So yeah, it's a pretty simple piece of information to just relay again to people with all of this. If Warner Brothers Discovery, or specifically Discovery, were responsible for choosing whether shows are cancelled or not, they just would have cancelled everything and they just would have moved on. I know people love to have weird theories that connect to other things, but it's just a simple money decision, as I was saying. You know, those shows that are good for business, they stick around. The ones that aren't, well, yeah, they're going to make the axe, aren't they? But a question that's been going around and that, you know, I posed myself is, well, are these cancellations a bad thing? And in regards to people and their jobs, of course, you don't want to see people lose their jobs, let alone the amounts of people that would be spread over, well, the total of 7 shows on the CW, as well as the other network shows that got cancelled as well. But it's clear that the CW is clearing what they see as losses, especially now that they're trying to sell the network as a whole. Like Warner Brothers and CBS, or now Paramount, they're a combined thing with the CW, and they're trying to make the network as, you know, enticable as possible to buy. So of course this is going to include shows they aren't seeing any profit from, and those would be shows that are a few seasons in most likely, and then of course the shows that were cancelled early into their runs, obviously the CW doesn't see much growth there. So Naomi, for example, it's in season 1, they're seeing the reactions to it. Do they think there's much improvement there? If not, may as well cut it while you can. Now, as most of you would know, the CW has been up for sale since towards the end of last season, and the rumors swirling around that is that this like buyout deal will happen sooner rather than later. And we knew heading into that sale that shows that weren't performing greatly were at a much higher risk of cancellation than in previous years, because the CW needed to come across as, like, as I said before, like an attractive purchase across the board. And of course, a bunch of underperforming and not really talked about shows isn't going to help that, you know, is it? Like if you look back to even like maybe like 2015, 16, like the majority of the CW, or the shows that are on the CW, you know, trended every week and everything like that. And they want to get to that same sort of model, and that's going to lead to less shows. And that's where you saw the shows that were cut and the shows that were renewed, because they're the ones that people, or at least the CW, feel that people are, you know, talking about weekly and everything like that. So you're seeing 9 of the lower performing and engaged with shows head out, even though I'd argue shows like Legacies, Legends, and Batwoman did trend every week. Obviously, it's not to the level that the CW wanted. With us then having 3 new shows coming in, 2 of them being prequels of popular CW franchises in Supernatural and Walker, and of course the other being Gotham Knights, which the name itself sells the show. And of course, a couple of months ago, they renewed a bunch of their popular shows for new seasons, which included Superman and Lois and The Flash. The only show that I care about, at least, that hasn't had any news come out about it, really in any form, is that of Stargirl. But that's because it hasn't even aired its latest season yet. That's just sort of sitting there. They finished filming it in like March or something like that, and it's just sitting there waiting to come out. Like, we still don't even have a release date for all of that. However, there are some rumors that Stargirl could be pushed back to an October premiere date, so it would become a fall premiere. Of course, that isn't confirmed. That's just a rumor going around. So definitely don't take that as any sort of fact. But in regards to next year's schedule, that should be revealed at the CW Upfronts in just under a week from now. Maybe not the exact dates, like when shows come out. I'd be very surprised if that's the case. That'll probably come later in the year, but they could give us a rough schedule of what's coming out next season in like a rough order, or just a rough area, like saying that Stargirl isn't coming out in the summer like it has since it premiered. It's going to be pushed back to that fall premiere slot area. But you might be wondering, like, what is shown / revealed at Upfronts? Like, what should we, you know, get it, you know, ready for, if you want to call it? Usually it's trailers for these new shows, you know, based off the pilot. So just the pilot episode, footage from that pilot episode, and they put it into a trailer. You know, press usually gets screeners for pilot episodes at this point as well, or at least for some of the new shows. I'd expect for all 3, press will get screeners. So you'll probably get reviews of these pilot episodes within probably on the day that these trailers come out. As I said before, Stargirl Season 3, we haven't got anything, so they might get us information at this Upfronts thing, maybe even a trailer if they want to, I'm not too sure. Usually it's focusing on the new stuff and what's coming, but technically Stargirl is coming, you know, because it hasn't premiered yet, so maybe they give us a taste of something there. And then, of course, there could be any information on bigger stuff happening in the next season that's coming away. So if there is another Flash event like Armageddon or just a general crossover event, then that could be brought up and teased or announced. And then, of course, if there's announcements for final seasons for shows like Flash, Riverdale, for example, they might make announcements there like, hey, season 9 of The Flash is the final season, and then whatever number season for Riverdale, these are going to be the final seasons. They could announce them there. If they aren't announced by Upfronts, obviously they aren't 100% sure whether they want the upcoming seasons to be the final ones. So yeah, I'd expect it there if it's going to be announced, I think. And also they could announce like a drop in the amount of days with original content, which was up to 7 days over the past couple of years. But considering the big drop in the amount of content they're making, it's likely we would see the CW drop back to like a Monday to Friday schedule like it was, back in like 2015 or whatever, or 16 or whatever it was. So we could see them drop back to that. But you'd hope that things will be a lot more clearer come this time next week, after the upfronts, whether it's us knowing whether certain seasons are going to be the final seasons or just general things like that. The CW's got a big job because they cancelled so much, and there's going to be a lot of eyes on how they explain certain things and everything like that, why they chose to keep certain shows or get rid of certain shows over other shows and everything like that. It's going to be very interesting to see how they handle things. There's going to be a lot of angry people with them because a lot of people got their favorite shows cancelled potentially. So I wouldn't want to be Mark Pedowitz, the CEO, or really anyone that's headlining a new show, because it's I just wouldn't want to be there. It'd be a bit of a minefield. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Once again, my voice, I'm sorry about it. I feel like sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but sorry about it. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, it would be awesome if you could drop a like on it, show support. Let me know in the comments section down below your various opinions about all this. Anything you want to let me know. Curious to read it. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.